She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, and welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We are very, very blessed that you decided to join us today, and we hope that you join us every single day at this time or on demand. Today, we're going to be talking about something very important that is going to help you to succeed quicker, better, faster, yes, and perhaps help you to help others succeed as well. Throughout life, you are faced with thousands of these. In fact, some days you might be faced with 10 of these, maybe even 20 of these. In a week's time, hundreds of these. Your lifetime, thousands. And these are so important for your marriage, for raising kids, succeeding in your career or your business, and for creating wealth. Success starts with a decision. You see, decisions happen every single day in your life. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't like making decisions. A lot of people don't. They much rather someone else make that decision for them. So today we're going to hear from various different people who've responded to a Facebook post that we made of how do you make decisions? What's your process? What do you feel leads to success in making your decisions? And how do you discern what is the right decision to make? I certainly will share what I have found in the 27 plus years of being in business and now married and having kids. I've got 5 kids, 7 grandkids. We have to make decisions every day. And if we don't make wise ones, we end up with consequences that we think stink. And sometimes want to blame other people for these consequences. So we're going over here to Erin De Winter from Florida. Erin, we'd love to hear, what is your decision-making process? What have you found to be helpful in processing those decisions and making wise choices?
Well, hello, and
Hi.
Thanks for having me. My first 36 years of my life, I made some bad decisions. Mm-hmm. And we all fall short from time to time. We still all will fall short from time to time. But, through mentoring and getting sick and tired of being sick and tired and realizing I'm making bad decisions, I refocused the efforts and allowed other people to speak into my life that had made good decisions and walked the walk ahead of me. And people that I saw, like I wanted my life to be like theirs, or have the fruit that I saw in their life.
Yes.
And we'll all still cross those roads. I'm still a work in progress, so I'm not claiming to, know it all and have all the answers. But, one thing I journaled just the other day in my journal was, Erin, are you being passionate about the things that matter, that bring positive change, results, and growth?
That's a great question.
And one thing that's kind of been resonating with me is, passion trumps perfection. Well, we won't make the perfect decision every time, but certainly we can be passionate about our decisions. And so the other day, when you posted something on Facebook, I shared we better have some guiding principles in our lives that are not up for compromise. And I think that's the biggest thing. Are we decided on the decision, not to say that we're perfect as humans.
So true.
Because like I said, we'll all fall short. But, what I said is, I have a filter in my life that I try to run everything through. And I'm not perfect, but for me, it's a combination of biblical instruction or principles. I've just found along the way that you can't go wrong with weighing things against Scripture if you're that confused, or about anything, whether it's a little matter or a huge one. Family goals or vision, honoring your family's, just your vision and your goals, basically, keeping that in the forefront because that's your first and foremost responsibility. I'm married, I have 5 kids, 1 grandchild, 3 are out of the house, 2 are still home with us. And so that's my responsibility that I feel like God, lead your household well and all other things will fall into place. And then of course a company or a career vision, your employer or your business, whatever those visions, honor those as well, because you represent anywhere where you go, whether it's in your house or out in the community or you're doing business, you're representing not only your name, but whoever you're attached to as well.
Yes.
And, I basically, the wisdom that I've gained over, basically since about 2009. And ironically, that was when all this journey began and I started turning the corner and really focusing on making good sound
What
decisions.
provoked that, Erin? What happened in 2009 that caused you to make different decisions?
Well, basically, it was a lot of bad decisions.
Like what? Like what were the bad decisions that you had made that added up?
It was lack of vision for my future.
Okay, wait, you're still not getting there. What? Give me one bad decision you made that you're trying to hide right now.
One huge decision that I made was that I put bad habits like alcohol and other things in front of everything to mask just things that I was frustrated with.
What did that look like when you say you're putting alcohol in place to mask everything? What did actually that look like? What do you mean it was in place?
It was basically, living a kind of a double life. Like trying to make some good decisions with being responsible and going to work and having a job, but at the same time, surrounding myself with people that really didn't have the best, the best for me in mind. It was people that they accepted me because nobody really had any high standards, and I didn't realize that at the time. So I was easily accepted and felt part of that community, so to speak.
So what was that community? Who was that community?
It was actually a very small circle of people, and that would congregate at local bars or restaurants that I knew any day of the week I could walk in there and those 3 or 4 or 5 people would be there and accept me with open arms, and I could kind of just shove the real world reality out the back window, and that became reality until it started catching up with me, and things got worse and worse and worse. And
what's the things that got worse?
Just basically things like I wasn't able to make good, clear decisions because the alcohol would increase and increase and increase. Finally, it was, I think, the last straw was really my wife was like, hey, look, it's either we start turning some corners and going in the right direction, or I'm leaving. And at the time, just had my daughter, at that time, and that was a real wake up moment for me. And so, but isn't it just like God that I had to walk away from a number of my friends that I was associated with and never return back there again. And they're still there this day, probably. I know that for a fact. Some of them are, some of them I'm not sure. But I had to do an about face and go the other direction. And God just totally put some people in my life, like 3 very specifically, that spoke this truth and wisdom and hope and vision in my life like I've never had anybody speak to me before, including even really my parents. I had great parents and I love them. I'm thankful for them, but it took somebody from outside that relationship with just bold strength and truth to look me in the eyes and ask me some tough questions. And actually one of those, ironically, put your book in my hands. And
which book?
It was First Steps to Wealth. And I went on a family vacation. We went to just a lake, a quiet lake, and I sat on the end of the dock and I read that book. I still remember it like it was yesterday.
Wow.
And it totally rocked my world. And that's when everything started taking off. And so that's why I mentioned really, my faith first, because if that's in order, and if I'm weighing everything against Scripture, because I believe that's the best leadership book ever written. I'm sorry, I love your book, but that's the best leadership book we could draw from.
Absolutely.
That opened up the freedoms with no bondages and operating in the authority of Christ. And, the main thing I would leave with you, because I don't want to take up all your time, but the main thing I'd leave with you that I journal all the time, and I remind myself all the time, is not making a decision is still making a decision. So even when I was, sitting in the bar and kind of putting reality off, I was still making a decision.
You were,
And each one of our choices and decisions matter for everyone for all time. And
did you end up going through recovery, Erin?
I did, actually.
Yeah, because you're speaking a lot of recovery strategies, which are so powerful and so effective. I happen to live in a place where we have hundreds of recovery homes. And so everywhere we go, for out to dinner or to get gas or whatever, pretty much everyone you meet that's working generally comes from a recovery home. And so I have sat and interviewed many of those who are walking through recovery, and you are literally speaking the outline, and the fact that even journaling, that's a recovery, was one of the strategies and the steps. And what I'm so proud about for you is that you've maintained it. You haven't gone backwards, but you've continued to keep those habits up, because it's those habits that become pillars in your life that keep you on the right track. And I'm also proud of you that your wife was more important to you than your alcohol, and that that very strong conversation your wife had with you. Number one, I'm proud of her that she could have that strong conversation, that she had to make the decision, like, we can't keep going in the same direction. I don't like where our future, what our future looks like on this path, that when I fast forward 10 years, this doesn't look good. And so that took a lot of courage for her to have that very strong and bold conversation with you. And then, of course, the three individuals that God brought into your life to also have very strong, bold conversations, because that's where it comes to, that there has to be a light that is shine on the facts and the truth of our habits and the fruit in our life before we make any changes. And so I really appreciate you, Erin. You shared a lot of things today that are so very helpful and wise and enduring and strengthening and edifying and encouraging, and that you have not done this on your own. You know that God is surrounded you, with his strength and with a cloud of people to help pull you out of the pit of hell in all reality, and help your life to be what it is today. And I'm so grateful that you were blessed by the book, and you're right. I say this all the time, the best success book ever written is not one of my books. That book is the Bible, no question. And the point of my books is to draw people to the book, the source of the books that helps everybody to succeed. Erin, thanks so much for sharing that. That was a very awesome and powerful story. So, when you think about where your life is, and just today, decisions that have to be made, I love what Erin said. Have you really decided on the decision that you made? Sometimes we can make a decision and we can go backwards on it and be double-minded with that decision. There is torment when you are indecisive. There's procrastination that births when you are indecisive. When you have not stuck to the decision that you've made, now you open the door for all kinds of confusion and lack of sleep and even depression. You've got to stick to the decision that you've made and continue to move your life forward. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Do you hate making decisions? The next segment is for you. Don't go away. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Do you dream about feeling more confident, more beautiful, more powerful? But instead, you're that girl that never learned to do their makeup, and now you feel lost in a sea of YouTube makeup tutorials. Or you're that new mom that can't get enough sleep at night and just wants to feel pretty again. Or the busy professional that wants to magnetize brand new clients and get more respect in the office. From the boardroom to the bedroom, XMHBeauty.com will help you. Our company has a proven track record of making beauty available on any budget, from celebrities to girls just like you and me. Our live classes, step-by-step tutorials, and insider secrets will have you standing out from the crowd. Go to XMHBeauty.com/Dani today to get your free gift from us. That's XMHBeauty.com/DANI.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First steps to success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org. The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
Change your habits, change your future. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Dani, I just suck at making decisions. I hate making decisions. It's just so much easier to go with the flow. It is too hard. It's so much pressure. I just can't handle it, and I just want somebody else to make up my mind for me. I used to be that way. I used to be so afraid of making the wrong decision that I wouldn't make a decision. And when you don't make a decision, you actually have made a decision. And that decision is neglect. That's what that decision is. So making a decision is much like a muscle. Being decisive is a muscle. And when you ignore a muscle, I've come to learn that when you ignore a muscle, it gets weaker and weaker through time. It does. And so you know how to make decisions. You make decisions about what you're going to eat. You know, you make decisions on, which route you're going to take to go to work or to go home from work. You make a decision on what book you're going to read or what movie you're going to watch. So you do know how to make decisions. But it seems to be that when it comes to big decisions, maybe you need a strategy. That's what we're talking about today, because here on the Dani Johnson Show, we bring you strategies and skill development to help you succeed in every area of your life, because your success is yours. It's not anybody else's. No one else can define it for you. It's yours. You can't live your life to please everybody else. You were put on this planet. You've got a calling on your life. You were designed for a purpose, and there is a destiny awaiting you. And you have to decide to do it. So do you make a pros and cons list? How do you go about it? Do you ask other people to make the decision for you? Do you do some research? We're talking to some people that responded on Facebook. By the way, if you haven't joined us on Facebook, come on over. Dani Johnson Live is the page. You'll find over 400,000 people that are congregating on that page. Amazing people that you will love to meet. People who are building homes for the extreme poor, getting kids out of the sex trade, as well as paying off their debt, treating their families right, changing their lives, growing their businesses and their careers. You can't ask for a better group of people to be around. So here we've got Cheryl from Canada. What about you, Cheryl? What's your process of making big decisions?
Oh, hi, Dani. First of all, thank you, obviously, for having me on the show. I'm really excited. I'm always excited, but I'm super excited to finally have this opportunity to share and speak with you, of course. I really believe that decisions are easily handled if you base them on your highest values.
Yes.
And for me, it all starts with gratitude.
Yes.
If you are grateful for the decision that you're going to make, then definitely head in that direction. And it's all about love and faith and happiness and, whatever your true highest values are, it's how you're going to make the decision.
Okay, hold on right there, Cheryl. Hold on. I got to challenge you here. Number one, I 100% agree with you on that it has to be held up against your values. That is so enormous, and I don't want that to just sail right by somebody's ears.
Thank you so much.
Let's just focus here for a second.
I changed my life since I started living that way.
It's very true. It's very true.
Very, very powerful.
But let's go here.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
So if gratitude's a great value, okay? Like our values for our company is advocacy, being an advocate for each other, being an advocate for our clients. Number 2 is honor. Is this honorable? We believe in honoring each other, honoring our clients, honoring our God, honoring the finances of the business. 3 is learning. Are we learning? Are we helping our clients learn? Are we ourselves learning new skills so that we can serve our clients better? Inspiration is number 4. Are we living an inspirational life? Are we being inspired? Are we putting ourselves in a place of being inspired? Or are we just skating by on mediocrity and yet last week's excitement of a new testimony? Are we inspiring our clients to get over their excuses? Are we getting over our own? Are we inspiring people by how we treat others? Are we inspiring people how we lead? And last is results. What result did we get today? What that can be in terms of sales, that can be in terms of the client's results, that can be in terms of having some kind of breakthrough. We have to have results in what we're doing or we're wasting our time. Those are business values that we have. My husband and I also have family values. We have 3 main values that we have for our family. And yes, when you use this almost becomes the keyhole to what's on the other side of the decision. The key itself that you stick through the hole that opens the door has to be your values. So you have to establish your values. But the thing I want to challenge you on, and we have to cut to a break right now, Cheryl, that if number 1, your value is gratitude, right away when I heard you say that, and I 100% agree, because gratitude opens up the vault to all blessing. But let's say that there's somebody right now facing a decision of taking their son off of life support. We'll continue with more right after this.
Be sure to tell a friend about the Dani Johnson Show. It just might be the key to the breakthrough they need.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
My name's Erin Hudson, and I'm from Huntington Beach, California. You know, I just have to share with you, I never thought I'd be up here in a million years, and I have to tell you, my story is not my story. My story is to help each one of you, to give you a little bit more hope. And as I share with you my story, I apologize up front, I get really emotional. We have been through hell and back. And I share this with you again to really give you hope, okay? Prior to coming to First Steps, we had filed for bankruptcy in 2010. I was a broken woman. My marriage was in a downward spiral. My kids were completely out of control. My business ruled my life night and day. And then I found Dani Johnson. Since attending First Steps to Success in July of 2012, my marriage has been restored. My kids are now the most respectable, loving children to one another and to their parents. We never traveled anywhere. We now travel around the world and have traveled with men of youth that we consider close friends. We've gone to Belize the last 2 years, and I've been able to share with my children and show them how to serve others that are in more need than any of us happen to be. On top of that, our biggest accomplishment yet, I would have to say, is last month we paid off the last of our debt, and we paid off in the last 2 years and 2 months, $892,000. Wait, hold on, and some cents. $892,522 of debt, and we are now officially business and personal debt free. I have to say, this core report that Dani's going to equip you with today is going to change you. You're going to become a phenomenal champion communicator. And just with what she's going to teach you this afternoon, we're projected to hit $1 million. And I know it's because of what she's going to teach you in this next portion. And without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce my mentor and coach, America's favorite millionaire, Dani Johnson.
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Not every decision is a fun one to have to make. I remember over 20 years ago, probably going on 25, There was a decision that my mom and stepfather had to make. My little sister was in a head-on collision with 2 semis doing a drug run for them. She had so many holes in her arm from all of the crystal meth that she was shooting in her veins, needles on the floorboard of the car. She was in a coma. And they were being faced with the decision to pull her off of life support or to keep her on it and let her live. We're talking about the importance of making decisions. And sometimes there's some really hard, bad decisions to make. Joining me now from Canada is Cheryl. Cheryl is from, like I said, Canada. And she was just sharing about her values that she uses to make decisions. So Cheryl, you were saying earlier that gratitude is one of those and that, everything's about love and joy and peace and all of that stuff. But there are many decisions that we face in life that are not about that at all. Like not even a little bit. Meaning it's making a decision that's...
that everything's love and peace. No, by any means, but I do believe that we can still make a decision out of love, even in a horrible situation.
Yes. And sometimes it's a lesser of two evils. Sometimes it's a lesser of two evils. Yep.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. I'm not saying it's easy and I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means. Absolutely. But I know that if we stick true to our highest values, whether it is a business, decision or family decision, whatever it is, it makes it easier is all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Like sometimes people pass it off on other people and stuff. I've never been the type to do that. I've always made a decision and stuck with it, and been hard to change my mind. So, but everybody else that I, work with and stuff, I do see them struggling with making decisions. And for me, in my experience, is all I can share from what I've experienced and how I've changed my life for the better is by, sticking true to those values. I never even knew what my values were at one time in my life.
Most people don't. Most people absolutely don't.
You don't even know where to start. You know what? I tried for a year trying to figure out my values.
Yep.
Once I realized what my highest values were, my decisions were easier, and now I can live freer and stress-free and not worry about the how and the why and make it a decision and stick with it. It's just easier when I do it all out of, love. And gratitude was what started all of me finding out what my values were. You have to be grateful for what you have and start somewhere to realize what you really hold valuable. And if you don't know, the best way to start is to look around at your life. Look at what you're doing on a daily basis. Do you value your time alone to meditate and exercise? And health is number one, so you should do those things. And I know you're working on it, and way to go, girl, and keep it up. And I'm proud of you, too. So I just think that, if you really want to be true to yourself and not have that anxiety and worry and fighting with yourself and sleepless nights, be true to yourself and true to your values. And I know there is difficult decisions, but it's easier, definitely, when we base it on our true values.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. Cheryl, thanks so much for sharing. I appreciate that so very much. Speaking of values, we had one of my colleagues come into our office and we had a 2-day discussion about values and helping to figure those things out and what matters. What is it that we do value? So part of the exercise that I think could be helpful for you in figuring that out, because it really does, it directs all of your decisions. Whether it's you figure out what your top 3 most important family values are. But the question that provoked the conversation was, think of a boss that you have worked for. Because again, this was business values. Think of a boss that you have had that was the most influential on you, that you think was the best boss you've ever had. And, I've worked for myself for almost my entire adult life. I've worked for myself. I was a cocktail waitress for a minute when I was 21 as I was trying to dig myself out of being homeless. But 19, I had my first business, and with one massive failure by the time I was 21, and could no longer provide for myself as a business, I just screwed up is the bottom line. I could have if I pulled my head out of my intestines, but long of it is that I've been my own boss for my whole life. And So then right away it was like, yeah, okay, so who was like the best boss I ever had? Yeah, it's God. My Father in heaven is like the best boss ever. And so then we had to write down characteristics of that individual. So we did this as a team with my directors. And, you know, it was very simple. There was so much agreement in the room. My colleague was like, this is the first time I've ever done this with a company where it's like easy. Like usually there's so much fighting and arguing and just opposing values and all that. But all of us came up with those 5 values that matter to us. And it really was an reflection of someone that we admired, someone that we got to watch from afar, or someone that we got to work directly with, and the impact that it had. And these were the things that we valued. And so same for family. When my husband and I came up with our family values, resilience is one of them. Resilience is like who our family is. Honor is another huge value for us as a family. And love. Those are just these 3 things, and what those definitions are and what they mean, and how we kind of unpack what those 3 words are. That's how we make decisions for our family. So it makes it very simple. You know, I get faced with crazy decisions every day. Crazy. Crazy. Too much opportunity that comes in this direction now. You know, when I was homeless, there wasn't a single opportunity out there to help me clean up my mess. But, you know, as you become successful and you keep practicing these principles that we bring to you every single day on this show and in the books and the training seminars that we do, you know, now you'll have way too much opportunity coming at you. But everything has to pass through my family values. Is this going to express love in my family? Is this keeping my family first? Is this honoring their position and the priority that I have with my husband? Does this honor the priority that I have with my kids and my grandkids? Does this continue to help me honor my household and my household responsibilities? And of course, resiliency is, you know, it's about bouncing back. You know, it's like when you're dead on the mat, like you got to come back to life kind of thing. So anyway, but same for business. And so it makes it very simple that, okay, you know, if it doesn't fit this value, sorry, the answer is no, and it's very simple and it's very clear, especially when people come at me about making more money. I don't take a salary and I don't take profits from my business. I'm not motivated at all, not even close to an ounce for cash at all. I am motivated for the poor, and I'm motivated for the trafficked. I'm motivated for the elderly and the orphaned and the sick and the hungry. Those people motivate me greatly. So when it comes to business decisions, you know, Dani, we want to make you this, we want to make you that, we want to do this, we want to do that. It's like, sorry, that doesn't fulfill my passion, that doesn't fulfill my values at all. So this really doesn't work for us. So it makes it easy to say no to what others normally would say yes to when they don't know what their values are. Such good conversation, Cheryl. I'm so glad you brought this conversation of values up, because it absolutely changes your life tremendously. Okay, next we're going over to Karyn Brown from Virginia. Karyn, what about you? What is your decision-making process?
For me personally, I know I was going, I'd sent in a bunch of resumes. I was unemployed for a while. I was watching kids, you know, and everything. And a family member mentioned to me, well, why don't you start your own company, because I love animals so much. Uh-huh. And I was like, I don't know about that. It's kind of costly and everything. I thought about it, and I crunched some numbers, and I prayed. And I asked God, I said, God, what do you think I should do? Do you think I should start my own company or what? And he said, definitely, go for it. And it's been a lot of hard work. It hasn't been easy. It's been 4 years, and I'm still going.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations. So
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, congratulations. And so God is part of your decision plan.
Oh, definitely. Definitely, 100%.
Yeah. Do you ask him about all things, even every decision to make with your business?
Oh, definitely.
Good job. That's the only way to go. That's exactly how I operate as well. I spent too many years of not going before him on all things. One of my life scriptures is Proverbs 3, 4, and 5, and 6. And it's trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. But in all your ways, that's like all your ways, acknowledge him and he will direct your path. And so that very next step that you take after you have acknowledged him, as you have brought the decision before him, he's directing your path. The other thing I could say too, for business especially, and I'm proud of you, congratulations, you're a budding entrepreneur. That's so exciting. We got to restore the entrepreneurial spirit in the nations around the world, because that seems to be a dying breed. It's just really, really sad. It's an interesting and challenging and fun and rewarding life to be an entrepreneur, and for some it's complete torture. And at times for all, it is complete torture, that's for sure. Anyway, so part of that decision-making process is that, yes, I choose not to hold on to anything tight. To me, even the current company that we have, and actually the few companies that we have that I'm responsible for overseeing, running, directing, is that we might be out of business tomorrow. Because if God said close it down and go do this, I'm going to do what he says to do. And I'm obviously not going to make a flippant decision like that. That would take a while. But I have a tendency of marinating on things. I do. So when there's a big one, for example, we needed to hire a general manager for our company. And that's a huge role. It's a huge leadership role. It's a huge amount of trust to put in that person because I am not here, like almost never here. Maybe 5 hours a month on average is what I've been here for the last couple of years. So there's a lot that person is being entrusted to speak on my behalf and to keep the team focused and not cause division and keeping the vision in play. And it's a tough one. And I gave myself a year and a half to pray about one particular person. And it's interesting, and just keeping it forward, having it, at least once a week saying, okay, is this the right person? I want you to show me, give me a sign, make it very, very obvious if it's not. And I'm just always amazed how God makes it very, very obvious if it's a not or if it's a yes. You just got to ask and be patient. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
When it comes to making decisions, are you a team player or a lone ranger? One is successful, the other one isn't. In the next segment, Dani will show you the difference.
But I'm so blessed that I found what is in Grooming the Next Generation for Success. This is a book that is being taught in universities around the world. It's been noted as the best book on parenting that has ever been written. Crazy, if you ask me. But the point is that this thing gets results. Get your copy today, 888-757-8880. Again, that's 888-757-8880. Or go to DaniJohnson.com. That's D-A-N-I Johnson.com. Get your copy today. I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
My name is Anders and I'm from Latvia. Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was a struggling English teacher back home. I had a language school that I started when I was 21 and had grown it to be pretty okay in my city. But at the same time, I had acquired a debt of $60,000. In a matter of 8 to 9 months, I got rid of my debt. And by 2011, we had our first $1 million year. This has been amazing. We grew our school from about 100 students to 2,000 students. And I can only highly recommend for you to come to the next event and be part of this community and learn the tools that will help you to succeed.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, my family and I were hemorrhaging under the pressures of debt. Since attending First Steps to Success in January of 2014, my family and I have paid off over $147,000 in 19 months. We're completely consumer debt-free. We have restored relationships, and our business is growing at a rate of 15% at every event. Your next step is to sign up for the next First Steps to Success and start creating your own story.
My name is Jeff Conyers, and prior to First Steps to Success, I was a struggling business owner. I had discovered that my business account went negative $5,000 50,000, and I realized that I did not have a business plan and I needed to do something. Fast forward to 1 year after, I have now created, just by implementing the tools at First Steps to Success, over $50,000, created another business, improved my personal and business relationships. Man, it's like the story is forever changing, and it just gets better and better. I don't know about you or what you're going through, but I would highly recommend getting to First Steps to Success.
Prior to plugging into First Steps to Success, we were drowning under a mountain of debt. We were heading to divorce court. We had failing businesses and toxic relationships. Since plugging into First Steps to Success, our marriage has been restored. We have paid off over $56,000 in 11 months. We've helped our community pay off over $300,000 in 14 months. My business has grown in over 600% in 4 months. And for the first time, I could say I'm just loving life. I have great relationships. So if you are fine where you are, then this event is not for you. But if you're ready to reach your goal and to change your life, then I highly recommend that you get registered for the next event.
Hi, my name is Jill Kearns. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Prior to coming to First Steps to Success, my husband and I were struggling financially and were hurting in our relationship a lot. We needed more time together, and we just were struggling with that because of the finances. And so since plugging in, we've actually paid off over $280,000 in debt. We're completely debt-free, and more than anything else, the look on my husband's face of relief and excitement about where our future lies, and the traveling and the fun, enjoyable times that we'll get to spend together as a family is totally worth it. So if you want to have better relationships with your significant other, your children, if you have a desire to be completely debt-free and released from that bondage for whatever reason, whatever the burdens are, your next step is to get to First Steps to Success right now.
So prior to getting started to DaniJohnson.com, I was a college dropout. I was working a bottom of the barrel type job. I started plugging into her training. I've skyrocketed through the ranks of corporate America. I've tripled my income in the last 5 years. That's all fine and dandy, but it wasn't, there's a part of me that had the part missing. So I ended up using Dani's prospecting skills, and I ended up meeting the love of my life. Since then, we've paid off $32,000 of debt since October 2014. So get here now. This is the greatest thing ever. You have to see this. The skills and strategies Dani teaches are unbelievable. They totally took someone like me with no education and helped me just like multiply my efforts. So you need to be here.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
You know, Dani, I don't ever need any help making decisions. I am totally on my own. It's my life. It's what I want, so I'm going to make the decision. I don't need any help from anybody making a decision. Oh, gosh, friend, if that is you and your attitude, I am so worried about you. I really am. I have worked with people with that attitude. I've had seasons in my life where some individuals who are very, very close to me have had that attitude. Usually comes out of people in their teens and 20s, and sometimes 30s and 40s, sometimes people in their 80s. That is a very, very dangerous position to be in. Very dangerous. You see, a wise man has many wise counselors. A wise person understands that they only use 10% of their brain. That's all they use is 10% of their brain. They can't possibly have 100% of a perspective when all we use, and it's been proven by scientists, that all we use is 10% of our brain. We can't possibly see every direction, facet, every possibility with 10% of our brain. But oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. When we lack maturity, we think we need nobody, and we think that we'll succeed on our own. We won't. Everything in life is a team. Everything. If you're going to have success, it's going to take a team. There's been many times where I thought I had the wrong team members. You know, like the man I married. If only I had been married to the right person, then I would have had the right team member here. And, you know, if I was supposed to be married to him, he would totally support my vision or totally be behind me and as excited as I am about what I'm doing. I could not have been more ignorant in that moment. So we're talking about making decisions. Why? Because here on the Dani Johnson Show, we're talking about your success, defining success for you, living it according to your design and your destiny, not living it according to what society says is success, but about what you were put on this earth to do. That destiny is calling out to you. Are you answering the call? So what's your decision-making process? Do you have any challenges making decisions? We have Nicole from Ohio joining us right now. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you.
Hi. So what are you struggling with decisions right now?
Just making the decision, like, against my husband, I guess.
What do you mean?
My small business, I just started in February, and I'm doing pretty good, and I'm learning. I just went to Cleveland and saw you. I'm applying everything, and I'm going up. I'm not going back down, so I'm going up, and he thinks I need to stop.
Okay.
And go get a 9-to-5 kind of job.
So tell me why he thinks you need to stop.
Because I don't know, he's an emerald, I'm a ruby.
And that doesn't make a difference?
I don't know, but I can't get him to...
Tell you why?
Yeah, like
okay.
I'm not bringing enough money to him. He's not getting enough money.
Okay. So, obviously you guys have not had a deep discussion about the real reason.
It's hard. It turns into arguments all the time.
Oh, because someone thinks she's right and doesn't want to hear somebody else's perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you have to weigh your ego with your bank account.
Right.
Gotta weigh your ego with your bank account. And here's the reality. That if your marriage is the highest priority, then you will not be contentious about your dream with your husband.
Okay.
If your marriage is not the highest priority, you will end up fighting until you are fighting in divorce court.
Okay.
And that's not good. And it sucks when your spouse is not behind you on your dream. It just really sucks. So let me give you a little bit of perspective on how to solve this, and let's build a bridge to some unity between you and your husband so that there's a blessing for your business. And it's obviously the business is working, you're doing good, you're climbing, you're doing great. But there might be a couple of things going on with your husband, and there needs to be a good heart-to-heart talk where you actually listen, Nicole.
Okay. That
you don't listen only to make an argument, but that you truly listen to the heart of your husband, and that you create a way where he can freely share his feelings, and they're just feelings. They are not facts. They're just how he feels, and everyone's entitled to how they feel. You're entitled to your feelings. He's entitled to his, but you don't have to take on his feelings, and he doesn't have to take on yours. You just need to understand each other like you did when you were dating. So number one, oftentimes when a spouse starts in a business, they are so excited about that business. Are you excited about that business?
Yes.
Are you so excited about that business that sometimes you dream about it?
Yes.
Are you so excited about that business that it's like all you can talk about?
Yes and no. There's other things I can talk about.
But is it often the thing that you do talk about?
Yes.
Yes. Is it what you focus on? Is it what you read about? Is it all that you're learning about?
Yes and no.
Pick one, Nicole. From your husband's perspective, what does he see?
That I'm leaving him out.
So let's reverse the table here. Your husband comes home, and he is so excited. You haven't seen him this excited since you got married. He can't stop talking about it. He can't stop thinking about it. He's talking in his sleep, and you're hearing him talk about it. He's talking on the phone to people he hasn't talked to in a long time, and all he's doing is talking about it. He keeps trying to show you, look at this, look at this, look at this. Isn't this awesome? And he's continuously trying to sell you and close you on what he's so excited about. How would you feel?
Like he does now.
How would you feel?
I don't know.
Tell me how you would feel. Would you feel left out? Would you feel neglected? Would you feel threatened? Would you feel like you're being cheated on? Would you feel like you've been betrayed? Would you feel like there was another woman involved?
Yes.
Would jealousy rise up in you when 100% of, in your opinion, from your perspective, all he talks about is that stupid business. All he thinks about is that stupid business. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. He's not keeping his responsibilities at home. He's not focusing on me. All he wants to talk about is this stupid thing. Why am I not important enough to him? Does that shed some light?
Yes.
We create jealousy when our priorities are not right. And so he would like to have his wife back, and he wouldn't care how much money you weren't making. He wouldn't give a rip. That's just on the surface. He feels like the business is another man, and he should feel that way. I've been in that shoes, girlfriend. I did that to my husband, and then he did it to me, and it sucked. It absolutely. I wanted to throw that Mac computer. I wanted to dump water on it. I wanted to slam it on the ground. I wanted to stomp all over it. I hated that blankety blank. I really did. I became jealous of an inanimate object because he was with her constantly. He was on her, touching her constantly. He was excited with her. He just talked about her, everything that he was doing with her. He was on it first thing in the morning. He was on it late at night. There was nothing to take him off of that darn thing, and I hated that thing with a passion. That's what your husband's walking through. Make him the most important person on earth and don't talk business around him anymore. And I want you to grade yourself as a wife. Am I putting as much effort into this home and into loving my husband sexually, loving him emotionally, mentally, loving him in every way I can to make him know that he is the most important person on earth? Because if you do that, he'll support anything you do. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Stay right here for more of The Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, this is Dani Johnson. Let me ask you something. Do you dream about being more confident, more beautiful, more powerful? Are you that girl who never learned to wear makeup and now you're lost in a sea of YouTube videos? That busy mom who can't get enough sleep and just wants to feel pretty again? Or maybe you're that professional who wants a little more respect in the office. From the boardroom to the bedroom, celebrity makeup artist Xtina Harmsworth from XMHBeauty will help you. Xtina has a track record of making beauty easy on any budget. Her live classes, simple step-by-step professional beauty techniques and insider secrets will set you apart from the crowd. So don't sit on your dream another minute. Learn from the best. Get your exclusive free gift from Xtina today at xmhbeauty.com/Dani. That's xmhbeauty.com/DANI.
Prior to Dani Johnson, I was struggling in my business. I was drowning in debt. Me and Crystal weren't doing so well either. In the last 21 months since our first event, I paid off $36,000. We actually got engaged, which was the best part, and my business made $90,000 last year, and I've given over $5,000 to orphans this year as well. So I can tell you that this has changed my life, but I want to recommend that you come to this event and learn as much as you can from Dani Johnson.
I attended a First Steps to Success event, and after the skills I learned there, I started a home business. I've made over 5 figures in 1 month. Actually, I've generated over $90,000, which is way more than I ever did working full-time at my other job. So we have increased our income, paid off debt. More than that though, we no longer have that pressure. It's just been such a blessing to my family. So, everything might be awesome in your life, but if you want to increase your income, pay off debt, improve relationships, live the life you've always wanted to live, I suggest you get to DaniJohnson.com and register for the next event.
After plugging into Dani Johnson, we made a covenant that we would either move forward together or we would go our separate ways. And in a matter of days, we sold his car, we bought our engagement ring. 5 months later, we were married. We paid for our wedding in cash because of the business skills that we had also learned from Dani. And we've since then more than quadrupled our income, and we've been together now, married for over a year.
And after plugging into Dani Johnson, we have paid off $196,000 in 13 months. My company has grown 90%, and I have relationships that I could never have even imagined with the ones I care most about around me.
Prior to attending my First Steps to Success, We were drowning in debt. We had lost a business. My second marriage was going down the toilets. I had no time and relationship with my son, and I was just a mess, and I was burning out fast. After attending First Steps and been to a few events, we have a thriving business that's gone international. We have paid off 65% of our debt. We are not just making money, but we're saving money and we're learning how to grow money. I have got a marriage that's gone from barely surviving to thriving, and I now have 2 children with whom I have so much time. I am not burnt out, stressed out, and all I can say is you've just got to get here.
For families in Santa Pancha, Nicaragua, life is filled with fear and struggle. They don't have enough food for their kids, clean water is hard to find, and they're living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel on top of mining tunnels that could explode and sink at any moment. But a miracle is in the making, and you can be a part of transforming this village. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha to see how you can help. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org, and click on Santa Pancha.
It's time to take on a whole new mindset. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
That's a lot that happened in today's show. I know that you know that. Decisions. Decide today to keep your family first. Decide today to make your marriage, if you have one, to be the highest priority. Then your kids. Don't forget to take care of yourself. Don't forget to keep your body healthy. Drink lots of water and do something physical today. Our bodies were made for physical labor. It was. Go back to the beginning of time. All of us were made for physical labor, and today, look at me, sitting on a couch, talking to you. So we have to push ourselves to go do something physical so that we're treating the design in which we were given as a gift properly. Make sure that in your decisions today, that you are asking yourself, man, who else should I have in my life that I bounce things off of and care about what their opinion is? There are times when I didn't care about my husband's opinion, and that was not very helpful. And there are times when I have, and there are times that I shouldn't have. It's about using wisdom with the people in your life. At the end of the day, God's opinion is the most important opinion, and let your decisions go through that scope. Really super important. Hey, I wanted to pass something on to you. This is something also that can help you make decisions easier. First Steps to Wealth, it's free. It's for you. Especially if it's your first time watching the show, we'd love to give you this gift. If you call the phone number 866-760-8255. Again, that's 866-760-8255. Ask for Nellie. She'd be happy to serve you in any way of getting you your free copy. You pay the shipping to get this to your house. We'll pay for the $15 book for you to read. And you can also download a free copy on our website, DaniJohnson.com. If you enjoyed today's program, freely you received it. You did not pay for this today. Other people paid for this information for you to receive. The one thing you can do is you can spread the word about the webpage, DaniJohnson.com, and about this show. Share it in your social media areas. Dani Johnson Live is our page. Come over and say hi. Come over and let us know that you just finished watching this show and how it has impacted you, what you got out of it. Please share it even through email. Text the link to somebody. You can grab the link on the website, DaniJohnson.com, click on watch, and it's going to take you directly to today's program. So please share it. That's something you can do. And the second thing is, freely you got it. Freely you can give us a comment on today's program right on our website. We would love to hear from you and how this program is affecting you. And lastly, freely you receive today, think about making a difference in somebody else's life. Beyond today's show, I'm talking about in places where people can't get the internet. I'm talking about places where people don't have a cell phone or email. They don't have social media. They don't have access to anything. In fact, they're trying today just to figure out how to put food on the table for their 3-year-old. That's not the life that you live. You are surrounded by food, shelter, friends, love, and too much opportunity, but not the people in Nicaragua. Go to kingsransom.org and join us on building 1,000 homes for the extreme poor. Again, that's kingsransom.org. Other than that, that's it for me. God bless you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
Did you hear that last segment? Do you know someone else who needs to hear it? Go to DaniJohnson.com, find today's show, and share it online. This has been The Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson YouTube channel. We're super excited to have you here. And every single week, we're gonna make sure that you get awesome videos for your business, career, making more money, saving money, annihilating your debt, as well as helping you to handle those really tough problems that you have with people at home, as well as at work, and taking those really good relationships you already have and causing them to flourish and grow. All you have to do is click that subscribe button right down here. Click that and you'll be subscribed to an amazing community of people, as well as some great videos that will help to improve your life. Thanks so much for being here. Subscribe now would be good. Just click it. I know you can see it. It's somewhere down here. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.